not a tank. This is a tank destroyer. Now, if you all know your history, America, 20s and 30s, very small army at the time. Between 1920 and 1935, America only built 35 tanks, and pretty much all of them were experimental. 1940, they for the first time saw an armored division. They're a bit late to the game so far. The cavalry is on the Royal find other tanks with a chassis, and that's this one. The difference between this and a tank, the armour's very, very thin on it. The idea was speedy, get to where the enemy tanks are, have a powerful anti-tank gun on it, and go that way. Now, it didn't work as a theory. McNair had to all the time of having the right tank or the type of armoured vehicle in the right place. So inevitably, American ground forces at places like Kasserine find they're meeting German tanks on a one-to-one engagement and coming off worse. So the anti-tank guns, more powerful guns like a high-velocity 76mm gun or a 90mm and bigger gun on a track chassis, they weren't there and available at the right time necessarily. That doesn't mean to say they weren't successful in some encounters, they were, and this particular one right around now saw service well into the later half of the 20th century. This was out in Slovenia, Bosnia. They were being used till quite late on. This one's got a later model engine in it, but it's been painted up to look like the typical late war American versions of them. So as tank destroyers, they were part of something, Tank Destroyer Command, that McNair set up, and the idea was the Hellcat was one of the fastest guns or track vehicles going at the time, but that armour thickness is nothing compared to some of the other vehicles around. We've got 25 pound gun just before Sherman tank, but they're not ready for that. Keep it simple, make a lot of them, make them in large quantities, and get them over to Europe, which is why the weight limit, 30 tons, that was easy to ship to the Pacific or across to Europe without too much trouble that way. Now, amongst all this American kit, we've got a classic British tank that many people tend to forget. 25% of British... Valentine tank has got the later 6-pounder gun on it. You'll see that sausage-shaped canvas. That's a screen that would be inflated around the vehicle and it's as quick as possible every day so that they can assist the troops taking out boxes, replacing the American Sherman. The tank that will go through the gaps, cutting the front line. The Panzer 75mm gun. Panzer 3 has a tank on its fleet forward. Now we've got a couple of Shermans going. Now, two other vehicles, they look like these are for pulling guns across countryside. So sometimes the Pacific to fight the Japanese, cross to Europe. Most ports can carry a 30-ton, or they have a jib that can lift 30-ton vehicles off. The Sherman's simple. It's simple to maintain and to drive, and that's because this now American mass army is not going to have much training time. So it's a really clever tank to meet a need at the time. And the key thing for the Americans is they can make a lot of them. We're looking at a bang that you can see with that sausage of canvas round the outside. That's a tank Britain made the most of in the Second World War here in the UK. It's called the Valentine tank. And this particular one is a late model production. They call it the Mark 9. It's got the